back to Prep Focus on Football. I'm Tim Ahrens, also known as Dr. Pickenstein. With me, of course, Steve Soucie, the man, the myth, the legend, and let's call you the pigskin prophet.
If you must.
Although you weren't too prophetic last week.
Well, I'm feeling a little under the weather today. I think it has something to do with my winning percentage as of late.
Once again, this guy beat this guy. I was 8-6, which isn't great by any imagination. He was 7-7, and it should be noted that even though I lead him by 1 game in the overall standings, I trail Journal sports reporter Becky Slingerland by 2 games. And somewhere in there, there's an analogy about the sun and a dog and all that, but I'm not sure what that is. It's week 5, Steve, and you wrote a good column in the paper, I believe on Wednesday, about the importance of week 5 and that sort of thing. Can you recap that for us quickly?
It's a real pivotal week for a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams out there that are sitting with 2-2 marks right now, and only teams with records of 5-4 and better get into the playoffs. So there are a lot of teams sitting there that don't want to slip under the 500 mark and make their playoff journey a lot more difficult.
3-2 sounds a lot better than 2-3, and I think the teams that are 2-2 right now really are hanging a star on this week as being important. But all right, let's look at our local games here this week. I believe we have 14 again. We're going to start off with Bishop McNamara traveling up to Chicago to play St. Rita. What do you know about St. Rita?
St. Rita, typically one of the stronger teams in the Chicago Catholic League, or the Chicagoland area, basically. They had a scare last week. They narrowly beat a weak Fenwick team. Obviously, they'll probably be out to prove that that was a fluke more than a normal reaction for that fine team. So the Irish will have their work cut out for them.
Your pick?
We'll go with St. Rita.
I'll take St. Rita too. Moving on, Kankakee will travel up and play probably its biggest rival, Crete-Monee.
A lot of dissension in the Kankakee ranks this week. Had a couple of key suspensions last week. Those players are probably going to be on the field this week. They've seemed to resolve at least the disciplinary issues that they had. But that still won't make it easy for them to get past Crete, a team that Kankakee has typically had a lot of problems with. I'm going to go with Crete.
I think Kankakee is having a disappointing season, and I think the disappointment continues. I will also take Crete. Saturday, Bradley Bourbonnais travels up to Thornridge. What do you know about Thornridge? Kankakee played them earlier in the year, right, and beat them, and Bradley beat Kankakee, so...
Work that logic there,
yeah.
Tim. Get those little wheels in motion.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct. Kankakee beat Thornridge earlier in the season. A little bit different now for both teams, to be honest with you. Thornridge has had some trouble maintaining some offensive consistency, even though they have Michigan State-bound running back Mikhail McCall. Bradley lost their best running back, Brandon Maliga, to an injury 2 weeks ago, but they certainly responded nicely and beat a very talented Thornton team last week. Shouldn't have the heavy favorite here, and that's the way I'm going to go with my pick.
I'll also take Bradley. I think they'll continue their winning ways. The Battle of Route 50, or whatever they call it, Mantino traveling to Peatone.
Well, I mean, this is dire straits for both teams.
Actually, it's at Mantino, if that makes a difference. It's Peatone at Mantino.
Still dire straits for both teams. Obviously, both teams sit with a 1-3 record right now, and both teams obviously hope to meet the playoffs. The loser here will pick up their 4th loss and put them on the cusp of being eliminated from playoff consideration. Mantino had another heartbreaking loss last week, losing in the final minute to Herscher. But they still have some talent, and this is a pretty explosive football team that I think has a little bit too much for Peatone right now.
And you're going to take Mantino. I will also take Mantino. Our final game we'll look closely at probably contains the hottest team in the area, Moments. They're going to travel to Watseka, to Blakefield, to play the Warriors.
If you would have bet me before the season that Moments would have ran through both St. Joe Ogden and St. Thomas More, 2 of the stronger teams in the Sangamon Valley Conference, you would have won a lot of money off me. Obviously, Moments is having a real nice season thus far, and they look to continue that and keep themselves in position to win the Sangamon Valley Conference. Watseka struggled with some things, had some key injuries to some key players. It doesn't look like they have the firepower to keep up with Moments at this time, and I'm going to go with Moments.
I don't know if I've taken Moments this year, and I've suffered greatly for it, so I will take the Redskins this weekend. All right, time for the 2-minute drill. I'm going to say the game. Tell me real quick what you know about it and who you're picking. Wilmington at Seneca.
Wilmington hasn't lost an IA conference game in nearly 3 years, and I don't think they're going to lose this one.
You're taking Wilmington?
Yes.
I will take Wilmington as well. Plano at Herscher?
Tough game for both teams, but I'm going to go with Herscher, a little bit more healthy than Plano is right now.
Herscher it is for me as well. Reed Custer, who got their first win last week at Westmont.
Maybe the Commons are turning the corner here. They ran the ball effectively last week, put up 4 touchdowns when they'd only scored 1 in the previous 3 games. So I'm going to go with Reed Custer to maintain the role.
Reed Custer is my pick as well. Coal City at Sandwich.
Tough game for both teams. Obviously, neither team has lost in the Interstate 8 large division yet. Sandwich just looks to be a little bit ahead of Coal City offensively, and I'm going to go with Sandwich.
Sandwich sounds like a good thing right now. I'm kind of hungry. Lyle goes to Dwight.
Lyle showed a lot of mettle last week, taking Wilmington to overtime, but Dwight bounced back with their first win of the year. So both teams are looking to keep the upswing going here. I'm going to go with Lyle, but this game could go either way. This was my
quarter pick of the week, and it turned up for Lyle. So, Iroquois West, who got a win last week, travels to St. Joe Ogden.
This is kind of a hard game to read. Iroquois West has done some nice things offensively this year. They're 2-2, and they're playing an extremely hobbled St. Joe team. That being said, I still think St. Joe probably has a little bit more depth in their program, and they'll be able to withstand those injuries against Iroquois West and pick up a win.
I will also take St. Joe. Central goes to St. Thomas More.
This is another big step for Central, who rolled past St. Joe last week. St. Thomas is another one of the top teams in the SVC. So, but Central looks like they're really on a roll right now, regrouping from that Week 2 loss to Oregon nicely, and I'm going to go with Central.
Tough one to pick, but I stayed here at home and took the Central Comets. Westville at Milford.
Westville, a state-ranked team in 2A. Strong team right now. They're playing really well, and Milford's going to have a hard time matching up. I'm going to go with Westville.
I will also take Westville, which means our picks are 100% the same. So
we'll probably go 6-8.
6-8 or 7. Well, we'll shoot for 7-7 as long as Becky goes less than that, I guess. But okay, it's time now for the Player of the Week, and that was who?
This week we're going to go with Keaton Zirkle from Iroquois West. Scored 3 touchdowns on the ground, threw another one as their team's quarterback, and he's hoping to carry the Raiders along into another victory this week. They're at the 500 mark for the first time in recent memory, so the Raiders are hoping to keep them running going.
All right, well that wraps it up for Week 5. Amazingly, we're halfway through the season already. Be sure to grab Thursday's edition of the Daily Journal. You can grab the sports section for the Prep Focus, and you can see all the staff picks, along with notebooks and various items about high school football. So until then, we'll see you on the sidelines. All right, I think we're ready to go on this. Are we filming now? You've been filming the dry run?
I want the cold back.
Yeah, no kidding.